Hello, and welcome to the video lecture series brought to you by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. We are discussing the subject called Programming for Problem Solving using C language. And today we are going to see very small details, that is, very small knowledge that we have to gather before actually starting on with C. So I've provided the title for this particular lecture as the prerequisite knowledge for C. Now the word prerequisite actually means the knowledge that you have or you must have to move ahead before starting with C actually. These are very tiny details that you already familiar with. So I'm just going to repeat those. Today's lecture is going to be somewhat theoretical and short. I'm going to keep it short because we are going to just go over through very small details that you must have encountered with in your high school and in your lower, even your middle school even. Without going through all these small details, or if few people have missed that or maybe forgot about that, I'm just going to revise that for you. And that is the basic agenda for uh, going on through this particular lecture by me. Okay, so let's move ahead to the notes that have been already provided to you. So we'll start with the characteristic. Now, any other language, it has C has its own characteristic set. A character set denotes any letters, alphabet, digits, special symbols that you are going to use to write its syntax. So in the last lecture, as I've told you, we have written the words like we have declared the main function, we have declared and initialized the variables by using the word int and then space and then a. So those small alphabets called I and T, which makes up a word called int, are actually the character set of your C language. Now, all those characters set, all those symbols in the character set of C actually resembles that of English language only. But that is actually being intentional by the developers of the C actually. So okay, we are done with character set. It's like just like you have in your pre-nursery schools in the school in your pre-nursery classes you must have read about these ABCD and all the alphabets before actually taking on the English language, and before taking on the mathematics you must have learned about the meaning of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is like that. Now character set that are used to write the syntax of C is actually taken from your mathematics, English, and all the symbols that have you must have been familiar with throughout your life until now. So there is nothing new here. Okay. Okay. There's one special thing, that is the white space characters are ignored by the compiler. That is not true actually for all the things. These are true for in some of the cases, but while dealing with the strings, you will see that white spaces are actually counted on by the compiler inside the strings. If you are trying to calculate the total length of a string, now string is just like the combination of words, like this particular line. It has own character set. Now this particular thing is one big string. So if you try to find out the total length of the string, so the compiler will also count these white space characters. So that is, it is not actually true in all the cases. So be cautious to write this particular line. Now, next is keywords. Now few of the words that have been defined in your C languages has meaning that is only being defined for C language. That is, the C language actually contains 32 keywords that have standard predefined meaning. A few of them you have used in your last lecture. Like we have defined a variable A, and I have actually written int before writing the name A. Now that int has actually signifies that the kind of variable that A is actually integer. So that keyword int is reserved as in C. You cannot use it for any other purpose because compiler will be confused and it will consider it first as keyword, then for anything else. So that keyword has a meaning. It signifies that anything after that is actually an integer, or it simply signifies in C language that this signifies that the data associated with it is actually integer in nature. Okay. So these keywords can be used only for their intended purpose and they cannot be redefined by the coder. And all those keywords must be written in lowercase. Okay? So these are the few of the rules that you must have to follow. Keywords are also known as reserved words. Now, few of them are auto, double, break, int. We have already encountered int, else, struct, switch, long, char, case, extern, for, go to, default, continue, constant, short, return, void, union, type, static, if, do, and few of them you will encounter later on. So you'll encounter each one of them throughout the course. So don't worry about or don't bother to remember them now. So let's move ahead. Now we are at the basic data types. Now I will come back to this particular topic again in next lecture, and we are going to discuss this particular topic in detail. But just to give in a peek inside the house of the C, I'm going to discuss it for a few seconds now. Now, each type of data may be represented differently in computer memory, and the memory requirement of these data types will also be different. As we have discussed in the last lecture, that before initializing or declaring a particular variable in C, you must declare it of what type it actually is. Like we have described the variable a as of type integer by embedding the int keyword with it. So you can declare any variable as a character, as a float or real number, or a double or larger format real number. Okay, so we have keywords assigned for each type of data set or the data type. Now for integer, compiler actually reserves 2 bytes of memory. Now each byte consists of 8 bits. Now each bit you can visualize each bit as either 1 or either 0. So the combination of 8 either ones or zeros or a mix of them consists of 1 byte. So a compiler will reserve 2 bytes of memory location for your integer type data, 1 byte for character, 4 bytes for float, and 8 bytes for double. Okay. Okay. Now we have some more data types, that is short, long, signed, unsigned, and we'll go through it when we came back to the data types in detail. And okay, we'll come back to it again. There's no point discussing it right here. Let's go over through. Let's get an overview of C again. Now, communicating with a computer involves speaking the language that computer understands, which immediately rules out English as the language of communication with the computer. We have discussed this. Actually, we have discussed this complete topic, this particular topic in detail in the last lecture, but I am still going to read it out for you. However, there is a close analogy between learning English language and learning C language. The classical method of learning English is to first learn the alphabets used in the language and then learn to combine those alphabets to form words, which in turn will are combined to form sentences, and sentences are combined to form the paragraphs, and that will eventually make some sense. So this is the whole topology, how you have learned the English language in your school time, and this is the exact analogy you can refer to while using the C language. So first you will get familiar with the data types, you will get familiar with the character set, you will get familiar with the keywords, and by using the logical or the very informed combination of those keywords, uh, character set, you can write the right syntax and for language C, and that right syntax will actually communicate with your computer, and your computer then will do the task that you have told it to perform by writing your syntax in C language actually. Okay, so let's move ahead. As I have told you, those alphabets, digits will and the keywords will combinedly define what kind of constant variables are there and how you want to define them. And those constants, along with the operators and the values assigned to those constant or variables, will actually combinedly be called as instructions. And the number of instructions in a perfect synchronized order, or the or a logical order will actually form a program or an application or code, and that code will actually perform some specific task. So this is how you can relate to the analogy of learning your English language to learning your C language. Okay, I think we have done with this. Okay, let's again see the small definitions, very, very small definitions, or the what are constant, what are variables, what are keywords. I think you people must have been familiar with these definitions already in your English language or until in your high school. Again, I'm going to discuss those. So the alphabet, digits, and special symbols, when properly combined, form actually consist or make the constant, variables, and keywords. So a constant is an entity that doesn't change, and a variable is an entity that may change, and keyword is a word that carries special meaning, like int for integer. Okay. Now in any C code, we typically do lots of calculations. The results of these calculations are stored in computer's memory, and like human memory, computer's memory also consists of billions of cells, and the calculating values are stored in those memory cells are actually called memory locations, and they are given names, and those names are actually called the names of your variables. So if I, in the last lecture, as we have declared a variable called a, so that a is actually the name of some specific memory location in which you have stored some integer value. Okay, so the value stored in each location may change, and the name given to the locations are called variable names. So this is a memory location. As you can see, this is an integer variable. So there will be this particular memory is actually consist of 2 bytes. So these 2 bytes of memory location combinedly have a name called x, and actually the value stored in this memory location is 3, integer 3. Okay. Now in coding languages, the constants are often called as literals, whereas variables are called as identifiers. So these are the names that could be used interchangeably. So you must be aware of these synonyms. Now let's have a small chat about constants. So constant is a quantity that remains unchanged during the execution of the code. The constants are actually of two types, that is numeric constants and character constants, that actually like you people have must have used along your school life. So your numeric constants could be the integers, that is without the decimal places, and the real constants, that is with the decimal places. So 3.5.5, 0.45 are the examples of real constants, and minus 11 plus 39, 0 are the examples of integer constants. And we have also other type of constants called the character constants. Your single alphabets are called the single character constants, and when few of the characters do combine to form a word are called, and those the combination of those words which provide you some meaningful result is called or are termed as your string constants. Okay. Now we have some special characters are called escape sequences or backlash character constants. With in the character and string constant, the backlash character is special and is used to represent the characters not easily typed on the keyboard. Okay. So let me introduce to you a few of the very popular ones. Now backslash n actually signifies a new line. So anything written after that, if you try to output by using a printf function, and let's say you have written hello and then backslash n and then your name, then hello will be printed on one line, and from the new line your name will be printed out. So anything that has been that will actually succeed this backslash n is will be printed out or will be outputted on a new line. So this is used to insert a new line into your output. Okay. Backslash b is for a backspace. You must be familiar with what is a backspace. It has same meaning as in your keyboard. Uh, Carriage return will not go deep into this. Null character, single backlash, double quotes, single quotes, will almost all of them will be encountered one by one throughout the course. So you must have, these are also called escape sequences. Okay, not just backslash characters, these are also called escape sequences. Okay, how much? Okay, we are just at the cusp of the ending of this lecture. So let's talk small about, let's have a small talk about the variables on. So variable is a data name that may be used to store a data value. A variable may take different values at different times during the execution of a code. So that is the actual difference between variable and constant actually. The values of the constant cannot be changed over the course of the running of your code. But variables, the values of the variables assigned to them do change over the complete run of your code. Okay. Now, rules of creating the variables is a variable may consist of letters, digits, and underscores. So, no special characters other than underscore is permitted for declaring the name of the variable. So, you can use, let's say, hello underscore world as a variable name, but you cannot use hello backslash world as a variable name because it consists of a special character called backslash, and that is actually not permitted for the declaration of the name of a variable. Okay. The first character must be a letter or underscore. It cannot be a number. So name of a variable cannot be like 8x because the first character or the first symbol in the name of a variable is actually a digit. Okay, so so the first character or first symbol of the name of your variable either be a letter or an underscore and nothing else. Special symbols and blanks are not allowed. We've discussed that. Keywords and reserved words are not allowed. Obviously, if you write something like int and then white space and then int equal to one, if you, then actually you are trying to write that this there's a variable that is called int and is of type integer and has a value, let's say 5, but actually compiler would get confused because you have written the keyword int as for signifying the data type and again int for signifying the name of the variable. And as you know that keywords are not allowed and or the keywords have some special meaning to them, the compiler will get confused and try to implement that meaning or try to enforce that meaning to that particular expression. So try to avoid the keywords as name of the variables because they are going to lead you, if you use them as variable names, they are going to lead you to the premature, let's say, premature demise of your application, I would say, or premature execution stop. And last but not the least, both uppercases and lower cases letters are allowed and are considered as distinguishable. That is, the variable sum in upper cases is not same as sum in lower cases. So these are two different variable names, not one. Although their meaning is one, the alphabets you have used as same, but uh, the alphabets used in this particular name are actually of uppercase, and alphabets used in this particular are of lowercase. Okay. So I'll end this lecture here, and tomorrow we are going to discuss the data types in details and few other topics. Thank you.